time for the Splash Live from Civic Center TV, featuring stories from and about people like you in the greater West Bloomfield area. Simulcast on cable, 89.3 Lakes FM, social media, and the web. Now live from Green Media Center on Walnut Lake Road, it's the Splash Live.
Live, local, social. It's the Splash Live on Civic Center TV and 89.3 Lakes FM. Happy Veterans Day, everybody, and welcome to the Splash Live. I'm your host, Jake Sheff, going over all of the biggest news and events from right here in Greater West Bloomfield. As I said, today is Veterans Day in Greater West Bloomfield, a time where we celebrate the hard work and dedication of the heroes and veterans of not only the Greater West Bloomfield community, but those of the entire United States. West Bloomfield pulls out all the stops for our veterans and did so just last week at their annual Heroes Breakfast event, where our veterans were front and center in being honored for everything that they have accomplished and remembering those who we have lost. I was at the event and got to speak with several veterans on what the Heroes Breakfast means to them.
Well, we've been here for each and every one, and we really appreciate West Bloomfield for doing this for us. And it's tough to be a veteran from the Vietnam era, but we do appreciate everything that has happened, and every volunteer, every service person, and this community, and thank you.
It's been very, very invigorating because I'm able to see my fellow veterans and to see the outreach of the community and the people who are very, very much interested in the veterans. Just the idea of being here and being recognized is the one thing that really validates everything for me.
Well, first of all, just an amazing event. It feels good. This type of stuff makes you feel good. It's important not only for the veterans, but it's important for the community. And so to be able to do this, celebrate this way, just this is a standard that other communities should follow. Walking in here, seeing the attendance and what those folks are doing, and putting it on, I think this should be a benchmark for other communities.
What do you have to say to West Bloomfield, especially to West Bloomfield Parks, for putting on this event every single year and to be honoring the veterans every chance that they get?
An absolute huge thank you, right? It takes work. These things just don't happen. So it takes people that'll volunteer and do other things to make it happen. So I guess I just want to say a big thank you and keep doing it and encourage others to do the same.
About the people here today, everybody visiting this event, to be learning from the veterans and to be joining part in this moment together, what do you hope they take away from being a part of something like this today?
Well, I hope that they take away that those things that we were told while we were on active duty. Never forget to give back to the community, because the community has given you so much, and that's important.
Freedom is not free, and that's the thing that we need to always keep in mind, and especially with the people that didn't come back, my brothers and sisters that we miss and we'll never forget.
Community service and those at the home front are just as important as us when we deploy, because you got to come home. And what do you come home to? And so I think having this event and having those others attend is as important, if not more important, than the veterans coming. Because we get together and share an old story, but really seeing the other community members there makes events like this special.
It was such an honor to be able to speak to so many veterans who've worked so hard to keep our country safe. And there were plenty of other moving and powerful moments that came from this beloved event in Greater West Bloomfield. Assistant Fire Chief Mark Lowry, a veteran himself, spoke at the event, serving as the MC and thanking those that served just as he did, not only for their service, but for the moments that they endured for our freedom.
This is hard because I have plenty of stories that I don't share either. But I'd like to recognize that each of you have stories that you don't share. And I would like to look each of you in the eye and say thank you for living those stories that you don't share. Because you lived them, you allow us the privilege to live under the stars and stripes.
Very, very powerful words from Fire Chief Mark Lowry. And the keynote speaker, Brigadier General Scott L. Myers from the Michigan National Guard, saluted servicemen and women and beyond our armed forces, commending all who give back with great risk.
you still have individuals within our communities willing to put up their right hand and do something bigger than themselves. And it's not just soldiers, it's not just airmen or Marines. Where are my police at? We got any, I know the police were in the house. You know, every day they're putting their life on the line for us. Where are our firemen at? You know, there's others in the community that put service before self. But those here today, the veterans that are here today, I just a special thank you, because when I look at your faces, I see my brothers who I've served with. Some of them might look a little bit younger than you do, but I just love looking at the youth that are signing up and carrying on that torch.
That's right. It's very, very powerful moments. And this is a day where we celebrate everything that our veterans do, everything that they've sacrificed for us, and everything that they continue to do to keep America and to keep our country safe and to keep their families safe and to spread along these messages of hope to everybody that they see. And Mark Lawry extended a thank you to all of our veterans for everything that they do.
I'd like to thank the veterans who showed up here today. I'm a veteran myself, and I understand that there are a very small percentage of our population that does what you have done. This is a very full room this morning, and it's great that we have a wonderful turnout, but you represent a very small portion who provides the liberties and freedoms that the rest of us enjoy. So thank you for coming and allowing us to serve you today.
And a big thank you to all of those veterans as well. Now, if you want to check out the full Heroes Breakfast with Greater West Bloomfield, you can head to civiccentertv.com/heroes25 to see the entire event. Once again, that is civiccentertv.com/heroes25. Snow has begun to fall in Greater West Bloomfield, which means that colder temperatures are on the horizon, and the ever frustrating task of managing our vehicles for the winter is now upon us. It won't be long until snow begins to cover the roads and ice becomes a constant issue, which is why it's important to remind the community how to navigate the changing road landscape. Craig Bryson, the Senior Communications Manager of the Oakland County Road Commission, joins us now on the Splash Live to tell us more. Craig, thank you so much for joining us today.
Thank you for the opportunity.
Of course, very, very important conversation to be having. We've all been seeing the snow come down in Michigan, the first snow of the season, and it's just reminding us of what is to come. So as the temperatures begin to drop, what are some key things Oakland County residents should keep in mind when driving on local roads?
Well, the first and foremost thing we always tell people is to please slow down. We'll be out doing everything we can, but we can't guarantee that there won't be some icy, slushy spots. So please slow down, drive appropriately for conditions. Every year at the beginning of the season, we see people driving too fast and putting themselves and potentially others at risk. So please slow down when the weather is inclement.
That's right. And this stuff could happen at any time of the day. But I'm curious, are there certain times of day or types of roads that tend to become more dangerous once the temperatures start to dip below freezing?
Absolutely. You know, first and foremost, the morning and evening rush hour, when we have the most traffic on the road, is always the most dangerous. You have the most people crowding into roads that are sometimes over capacity. Any time of the day, depending on when the weather hits, can be challenging. But when the most traffic is out is when we're most concerned, and we're trying to get the roads as clear as possible. But of course, any time of day, please just drive for conditions.
That's right. Always be wary of what is on the road. Now, I'm curious, how is the Road Commission preparing for the upcoming winter season in terms of maybe equipment or salt supplies or even staffing?
Yeah, all of those. We've now completed our fall winter maintenance training. We go to every garage, sit down with all the drivers and review all the procedures, all the practices as far as how to drive, safety techniques, truck maintenance techniques. Our mechanics have completed, although it's an ongoing process always, but they've completed the fall review of all the trucks. The trucks are ready to go. We've got all of our salt facilities full, which means we've got about 37,000 tons of salt in 6 storage facilities across the county. So we are ready.
Wow, 37,000 tons of salt. Is that what you said?
Yes, that's how much we have on hand when we have all of our salt facilities full. We use an average of about 64,000 tons per year. So, that's a little bit more than half of what we'll use in an average year.
Wow. I mean, that certainly does help put things into perspective about just how much you guys prepare for this sort of stuff and just how much work goes into keeping our roads safe. And I am curious, Craig, with the winter season coming along, because you guys do great work in keeping our roads safe, but of course, I'm curious, are there maybe some new technologies or strategies that the Road Commission is going to be using this year to maybe improve efficiency and response times, especially during snow and ice events?
Well, there's a couple of things. We finally got 34 new trucks in this year, late this year, that we literally had ordered during COVID, and they finally came in. The delay in getting equipment has been crazy for the last couple of years. We're finally getting those trucks out on the road. Those trucks offer some new technologies. Traditionally, salt trucks had a single salt spreader in the back that spread the salt. Some of our new trucks have dual salt spreaders on each side of the back of the truck that allows them to salt a wider area. We can do multiple lanes at once. Some of them even have salt spreaders on the side of the truck that can spread the salt out to an additional lane towards the side. Those things make us more effective. We can salt more lanes at the same time. Almost all of our trucks now have the wing plows that fold out from the right-hand side so we can plow an additional lane or shoulder at the same time, again, making us more efficient. All of our trucks are equipped with the green lights now that make them more visible. Even in a blinding snowstorm, those green lights can be seen from further away, which is a safety issue. So lots of new technology, and being inside of those trucks is kind of like being in a fighter jet. There's so much technology in the trucks now. We have cameras on the front of the trucks that we can monitor what they're seeing, so our management people can look at any of the trucks that are out there and see what the road conditions are like. They can monitor the amount of salt that's being spread anywhere to make sure we're putting down the right amount of salt for the conditions at that moment. Lots of technology on these trucks these days.
You're absolutely right about those trucks. I was in one of those trucks last year for a story for Civic Center TV, and I can tell you firsthand, yes, a lot of technology, a lot of stuff that goes into keeping our roads safe, and it's great to hear of the continued updates in that efficiency. For those just joining us right now on the Splash Live, I'm talking with Senior Communications Manager for the Oakland County Road Commission, Craig Bryson, about some important tips to keep in mind as we're starting to see the first snowfalls of the winter season and as temperatures are dropping, how to protect ourselves and keep ourselves safe on the road. Now, it doesn't matter what time of year it is, road construction is always going to be taking place, and that's something people should still be aware of as we are navigating through the winter season. How is construction managed during colder temperatures like this? What usually gets done?
Well, most of the construction that you'll see in the winter is emergency repairs, things like water main breaks, sewer breaks. Most of the main road construction will wrap up typically by the end of November or so. A few projects, they'll continue to do some surface work. But of course, please watch all the signs, slow down. Don't try to go through areas that are closed. Every year we have people that ignore the road closed signs, drive around barriers, putting themselves and the workers at risk. Please don't do that. That's a safety issue. The roads are closed for a reason. If we didn't have to close the roads, we wouldn't. But they're closed for good reason. Please respect those barricades and those signs, and don't go around them, and don't put yourself or our workers at risk. We want everybody to go home safely.
That's absolutely right. That is the biggest priority above everything else. And of course, also when it comes to colder temperatures, that means severe winter weather is always going to be in the back of our minds. It can always pop up at any time. What kind of coordination usually takes place between the Road Commission and local municipalities during severe winter weather, would you say?
Yeah, well, we monitor the weather very closely. If we know there's a storm coming, we will keep we'll let the communities know that we're going to be getting ready to get out there. Sometimes the storms come up with a little advance warning. Those are the more challenging ones. Or we get a storm where it's right at the breaking point of the freezing. You know, if it goes up a degree, there's no storm, and it's just rain. If it drops a degree, we have a major snowstorm. Those are the kind of the hardest ones to monitor, but we do try to share information with our partners in all the communities. Many of the cities and villages are also doing their own road maintenance, so they're monitoring things as well. But communications is a big part of it. We want to let the public know what we're doing as well, so we'll send out press releases to you, our friends in the media. We'll post information on social media. That's a great way to kind of keep track of what's going on. But it's often a very fluid, changing situation, and it can change, minute by minute sometimes.
Sounds like a pretty well-oiled machine, all things considered, and great ways to keep everybody informed. I got a couple more questions before we wrap things up, Craig. How can residents stay updated on current road conditions or report problems that they witness during winter storms?
Yeah, great question. So we've got a real-time traffic map on our website that'll indicate whether traffic is slow or going at normal speeds. There's also a lot of cameras that you can click on to see real time what the roads look like in those locations. That's a great resource. We've got all the MDOT cameras along the freeways linked on that website, so you can click, see if the freeway's running smoothly or if there's snow on the roads. That's one great source. You can follow our social media. We post updates there regularly. And then just, pay attention to what the weather forecasters are saying. We're listening to them as well. We're listening to our own forecasters, trying to stay abreast of what Mother Nature is throwing at us.
That's right. And I mean, Michigan weather can be some of the most unpredictable weather of all, as this said from somebody who's lived in the state all 26 years of my life. But it can always change with the snap of a finger. But yes, always important to stay prepared. Craig, I want to thank you so much for joining us on The Splash. One last question. What would you like the public to better understand about the work your crews do during the winter months to keep roads safe and accessible?
Yeah, that's a great question. We want people to know that we will be out there when it snows. We often hear, well, I haven't seen a snowplow, so you guys must not be out. The reality is we cover 2,700 miles of county roads and 230 miles of state highways. And when we have our maximum coverage out, we've got about 109 trucks, 19 road graders, and potentially 18 pickup trucks. So the likelihood of you seeing one of those trucks during your commute is probably statistically fairly low. That doesn't mean we're not out there. Just because you don't see our trucks doesn't mean we're not out there. We monitor the weather very closely. When it's snowing, or in the cleanup of period after a storm, we are out there. You may not see us, but we're out there working hard, and our drivers are out around the clock during those situations. And we thank people for their patience as we get things cleaned up.
Always out there and always working. And we thank you, Craig, and the Road Commission for everything you're doing to keep the roads safe. Thank you so much for joining us today here on The Splash Live.
Thank you very much. Appreciate the opportunity.
Of course. Even though it might not be too much snow right now, it's coming, and it will be coming very, very quickly. So it's important that we have this information in the back of our heads and to be prepared for how to navigate severe winter storms and icy roads as they continue to creep up all throughout Michigan in the future. With today being Veterans Day, it's a time when we look back and honor all of the brave men and women who have served and protected our country, with a very important chapter of history being recognized and located near our community. The Macon Thomas West Bloomfield chapter of the Tuskegee Airmen. The Tuskegee Airmen were the first African-American military pilots in the U.S. Army during World War II and trained at a segregated base in Tuskegee, Alabama. Today, they continue to spread their history and importance throughout the community. And joining us now on The Splash Live is the president of the Macon Thomas West Bloomfield chapter of the Tuskegee Airmen, Chuck Matthews. Chuck, thank you so much for joining us today.
My pleasure. Thank you for having me.
Of course, really, really happy to be having you with us on this Veterans Day. What does Veterans Day mean to you personally, and how does it feel to honor the legacy of the Tuskegee Airmen on this occasion?
Well, Veterans Day, for the biggest part, is giving veterans, wherever they are, the recognition, the honor, just the highest level of respect for who they are, what they've done, the sacrifices, and particularly those who have provided the ultimate sacrifice, those who have given their lives in defense of this country, doing what they were ordered to do. And it's not something, they're owed that recognition and honor. And for the Tuskegee Airmen, that history and legacy has so much to offer for all ages, even now. Though World War II has ended many, many years ago, the accomplishments, the legacy, the history, how they went about facing adversity, facing impediments, facing just out and out a desire for that training to not succeed. Put that all behind, work hard, prove, continue to excel, and they got their shot and they took advantage of that opportunity and saved this country's pursuit into Germany by protecting those bombers who provided the final blow to Nazi Germany to bring them to the table to say, we give.
You're absolutely right. A very, very powerful story. And as you said, it is inspiring several generations of people today, including younger generations. How do you think the story really inspires the younger generations, would you say?
When they hear it, when they are told, and it's as I speak around at schools and nonprofits and just general discussions at social gatherings, there are a fair amount of people, young and older citizens, who are not aware of the total story of the Tuskegee Airmen. Not that they have to know all the intricate details, but how they were selected, how they were trained, what they went through, and what they accomplished. It's there's so much to be gleaned from that history, and that's my motivation for becoming a member of Tuskegee Airmen and a local chapter, is to continue that history, legacy, and contributions of the 332nd Fighter Group, which is who the Red Tails were, protecting the bombers. And for every bomber that is shot down, there's about 10 men whose, if they weren't a father, they'll never be a father, grandfather. Those who had families would never return to those families. So every bomber that is protected, that gets back to base, that's 10 men. And we were losing bombers at a historic rate in those final months and a couple of years going into Germany to try to bring it in to that war. And the heroics of the Tuskegee Airmen provided that final victory blow to Nazi Germany.
That's right. Very, very important part of our history, and very, very crucial part in a very taxing time for America. And with a lot of these values, there was some very important values with the Tuskegee Airmen that are still relevant today. What would you say are some of those values that you see really hitting home with a lot of our residents today?
Well, that is how one approaches adversity, how one approaches negativity, how one would approach just having the proverbial card deck stacked against one. The lesson that I impart to particularly young people is never, never, ever let anyone tell you what you're not capable of, what you can't do, what you don't have in you, even if it's family. You have greatness that's within you, and you have to not buy into you're less than, you can't do this. You're capable of doing so many things that you put your mind, heart, educate yourself, and get it done. Just have that mentality to get it done, and not fight physically, but fight mentally, intellectually, and just words of my dad. I remember them clearly, so clearly, as I can show you better than I can tell you what I can do.
I love that. I can show you better than I can tell you. Powerful words for everybody to keep in mind. For those just joining us right now on the Splash Live, I'm talking with the president of the Macon Thomas West Bloomfield chapter of the Tuskegee Airmen, Chuck Matthews, about the everlasting legacy of the Tuskegee Airmen and the very important messages that people are remembering even today from the work that they have done to protect our country. Now, you and the chapter work to ensure, how do you and your chapter work to ensure that the sacrifices and accomplishments of the Tuskegee Airmen are remembered all year round, not just on Veterans Day?
Exactly. We have approached schools and nonprofits, churches, any group. This let us come in and tell you that history and legacy, and for kids, kind of make it fun, make it interesting for the children and the adults. Much of it, I mean, we can thank George Lucas in the filming of Red Tails, and I can't believe how long ago that was. That brought some interest into the story of the Tuskegee Airmen. I spoke at a church just this past Sunday, and there were members there. They took that movie to heart. I said, by and large, the story is true. I said some of the intricate details it's on the dramatic side for movie making, but the gist of that story is the essence of it is accurate. But we visit museums, participate in parades, Memorial Day, just any day, just Independence Day, anything that we do to celebrate the greatness of this country. We want to be part of that and showing that we are part, and we want to honor the contributions of the Tuskegee Airmen.
That's amazing to hear, and it's great to hear of all of these ways that you're continuing to teach everybody about the Tuskegee Airmen, especially people, young students who might be learning about the Airmen for the first time. How do you engage with students who are learning these stories for the first time?
We have linked ourselves with, as a chapter, and we're looking even on a national basis to engage our youth in, we have money management training that we do with our chapter. This teaches kids as young as 3rd, 4th grade about money, managing money, how the importance of budgeting, savings, setting goals, and how to negotiate an allowance at home, be a participant at home in what has to be done, and respectfully and effectively asking for an allowance for participating in it. So we do money management. We have a drone training program where we go into schools, churches, nonprofits, and we teach children and teens about flying a drone. And the rules and the laws of drone flying have changed dramatically since drones became popular. There are places you can and cannot fly a drone, places where kids could get their parents in some serious trouble. So we teach them the rules of drone flying and to operate drones recreationally. And we also are getting involved with 107, which is, I mean, don't be so caught up on the term and the number, 107 training, which is the introduction to pilot training. And with 107 training, one can fly drones commercially. And that is, they have the opportunity now to earn income. And that's really important for those youth whose track is not particularly going into college to be a doctor, lawyer, scientist, or any of that, or even a trade, plumber, electrician. But drone flight careers, and that's pretty lucrative from what I understand financially as well. And the training is intense, but we're doing those things, the etiquette, I mean, how to apply yourself to get a job and what you need to do to keep a job as a young person. So we're trying to impact many aspects of our youth on things they need with the history and the outline that was provided by the Tuskegee Airmen.
And it's amazing that the legacy of the Tuskegee Airmen has reached all the way to the people of today. Chuck, I want to thank you so much for joining us on the program today. I got one more quick question before we wrap things up. What message would you like to share this Veterans Day about service, perseverance, and carrying forward the legacy of the Tuskegee Airmen?
When anyone watching this program or talks to someone who has seen this program, when you see a veteran, and many proudly wear their caps out in public, just say thank you for your service. So that is, it's just a few words, but it means so much, and do it from the heart. These veterans, many of them are struggling now with what they went through, be it World War II, not many of those left, but Korea, Vietnam, the Gulf Wars, Afghanistan. We thank you for your service, and because it is invaluable to us. They volunteered to do that duty. They did that duty and did it well. And we are experiencing and enjoying the freedoms that we do because veterans have done what they have done. And I just want to thank veterans all over the world for what they have done, are doing, and will do in support of this great country of ours.
And we thank them as well for everything they do to protect our country. Chuck, thank you so much for joining us today here on the program.
My pleasure. Thanks for having me.
Of course, great to be hearing about the legacy of the Tuskegee Airmen as it has gone through all of these generations and continues to make an impact today. And we appreciate people like Chuck for continuing to tell these stories to all the people of Greater West Bloomfield. We're going to take a quick break, jump into some more stories with The Splash Live right after this. Live, local, social. It's The Splash Live on Civic Center TV and 89.3 Lakes FM.
We'll be right back with The Splash Live. What people are watching in West Bloomfield. Civic Center TV and 89.3 Lakes FM.
I'm Gina Gregory, president of the Greater West Bloomfield Historical Society. I'm excited that Civic Center TV has reached 1 million views on YouTube. Congratulations. That's just terrific. We appreciate everything Civic Center does for the Greater West Bloomfield Historical Society and the community. For us, they promote and highlight our events. It's awesome to have them available 24/7 on YouTube. I'm Gina Gregory and proud to be one in a million.
This is Civic Center TV and 89.3 Lakes FM. On cable and the radio. On the web too, and on social media. Civic Center TV, television that's close to home. And now, back to The Splash, live.
Live, local, social. It's The Splash Live on Civic Center TV and 89.3 Lakes FM. Welcome back to the show. I'm your host, Jake Schaff. With the holidays quickly approaching, it can bring forward a lot of anxiety and stress for what's to come. Therefore, it might be good to take a little relaxation break before the holiday rush. A mini-shift health and wellness retreat is set to take place on Friday, December 12th from 8:30 to 4:30 at the Hampton Inn in Brighton. A one-day educational wellness experience dedicated to mental health, mindfulness, and emotional well-being, with proceeds helping our community in Greater West Bloomfield and neighboring ones as well. Joining us now on The Splash Live is Stacy Renee, motivational speaker with The Positive Shift, to tell us more. Stacy, thank you so much for joining us today.
It's a pleasure. I'm glad to be here today. Thanks for having me, Jake, and Civic Center TV.
Always love having you on, Stacy, and love hearing about this great event that's coming up. Definitely coming at a very appropriate time, as I'm sure the holiday rush will be getting to a lot of people by then. So what inspired the creation of the Mini Shift Health and Wellness Retreat, and what makes it unique from other wellness retreats?
Well, the Mini Shift Retreat is something that we are so excited to have, and it is a retreat that was inspired by a deep need to help people slow down reconnect and rediscover balance in a world that often really moves too fast. What makes it unique is that it's just not a wellness event, it's a full day of experience designed to nourish the mind, the body, and the spirit through evidence-based practices, through personal connection and interactive sessions led by certified clinicians. And we've combined education, healing, and community. So it's basically all in an intimate, supportive setting, which I think we all kind of need.
I know, I could probably use one of those myself. That sounds amazing. And the theme of the event, I do want to point this out, is small shifts create big changes. How would you say that reflects the goals of this retreat?
That theme is huge. Extremely huge, because a theme represents and reminds us that the transformation doesn't require massive leaps. It starts with small intentional steps, with whether it's changing for how we breathe, think, or set boundaries in these micro shift building momentum. The retreat is really going to help people identify those small but powerful changes that can improve mental clarity, emotions, resilience, and overall wellness long after the day ends.
I love that. And definitely things everybody can remember and everything can relate to and take away from something like this. How do you see this retreat helping people in West Bloomfield and nearby communities improve their mental and emotional well-being?
Absolutely. Well, West Bloomfield and the surrounding communities are filled with busy professionals, caregivers, and families who are constantly giving to others. And this retreat gives them permission to pause and take and invest in themselves by offering tools for mindfulness, stress reduction, self-awareness, and really empowering themselves as individuals to return to their homes and their workplace, because that's huge, and to be in a calmer environment, have a clearer mind, and feel more grounded, which ultimately strengthens not only yourself, but strengthens the entire community.
That's right. And there's going to be a lot of great things at this event, a lot of things for everybody to take away and to experience as they're a part of their wellness event. Could you maybe share some of the professionals and leaders that attendees will have the opportunity to connect with at this event?
Absolutely. For the leaders, the participants will meet incredible network of local professionals, from licensed clinicians, Reiki practitioners, leaders that are in the business, educators, and of course, the motivational speaker. And we're proud to include voices from healthcare, wellness, and corporate sectors who are really passionate about improving mental health and improving and helping others thrive. So it's really a day where leadership meets humanity. And I think that's a huge statement right there.
You're absolutely right. For those just joining us right now on the Splash Live, I'm talking with Stacey Renee, a motivational speaker with The Positive Shift, talking about the upcoming Mini Shift Health and Wellness Retreat that is set to take place on Friday, December 12th from 8:30 to 4:30 at the Hampton Inn in Brighton. Now, Stacey, as we mentioned, this event is going to be taking place towards the end of the year, towards the holiday season. How do you think this retreat will benefit individuals that might be struggling with stress or burnout as the year starts to wrap up?
Absolutely. For anyone feeling drained or really disconnected, this retreat offers a reset through sound therapy, mindful movements, and guided hypnotherapy. And we are really going to help participants quiet the noise and really reconnect with their inner calm. Even one day of intentional focus and well-being can reignite motivation, improve emotional regulation, and restore the balance that really we get burnt out, that burnout steals from our souls, I'd like to say.
It's something that everybody deals with. It's something I've certainly dealt with at times in my life. I'm sure everybody watching can relate to this. So there's lots of things people can take away. Could you share a little bit, maybe the types of sessions that participants can expect to see at this event and how they're designed to create a meaningful transformation?
Absolutely. What's exciting about our retreat is that we can, attendees can anticipate an experience with 6 immersive sessions, including sound bowl therapy, Reiki, breath work, mindful movements, therapeutic hypnotherapy, and neuroplasticity-based mindset education, which is huge. And each one is designed to activate a different aspect of healing, which is emotional, mental, and physical. And together, this will help the participants release stress, reframe limiting beliefs, and really step into a stronger sense of self-awareness and purpose, which I think we all need.
You're absolutely right, especially at a time like as the year is wrapping up. It's the perfect time for a mental reset. Stacey, looking ahead, what are your hopes for how wellness events like this one will continue to grow and support personal development all across Oakland County, and especially in Greater West Bloomfield?
Our goal is to make this the very first mini shift retreat that will really uplift the community year after year. And we hope to expand our partnerships with local organizations, school, businesses, and continue promoting mental health and wellness and personal growth, because it's important. When communities make well-being a shared priority, everybody wins, and that is so true. Individuals will flourish, workplaces will improve, and the community becomes stronger and really feels more connected, which is why we're really trying to involve the community as much as we can with sponsorships, with sending people from their own corporation, and maybe even have some sort of incentive for their employees at the workplace and send them to show that, yes, we do care about your health, mental health and wellness. And at the end of the day, when they come back, they'll feel refreshed and they're like, okay, this is something that we need to bring into the workplace.
That's right. And when one person starts to feel better, that helps improve the wellness of everybody around them. You could definitely say it truly is a positive shift for wellness. Stacey, thank you so much for joining us. Where can people go to gain a little more information about this event?
Absolutely. They can either email at info@minishiftalk.com. They can reach out and call. You can get that information by really just going to the website, www.minishiftalk.com. Or most people in the community know me, just reach out and call. I'm only a phone call away. Thanks, Jake.
Absolutely. Thank you so much for joining us today, Stacey. Can't wait to see a lot of people out at this event.
Thank you so much.
Once again, the Mini Shift Health and Wellness Retreat is set to take place on Friday, December 12th at the Hampton Inn in Brighton. Hope to see a lot of people out there to kind of take that very important mental reset just in time for the new year. Mojo, a beloved voice and influential figure in Michigan radio who just so happens to be a West Bloomfield native, was recently inducted into the Radio Hall of Fame, recognizing his decades-long impact on broadcasting. His induction honors his exceptional career, longevity, on-air personality, and connection with Michigan audiences who have followed his work for years. I recently had the incredible honor of speaking with Mojo himself about his recent honor and what his career in radio has taught him. Mojo, great to have you with us.
Hey, this is great. How you doing, Jake? This is awesome, and an honor to be able to be one of the million here.
It is an honor to be speaking with you, Mojo, and a big congratulations on your induction into the Radio Hall of Fame. Let's get started. What was your first reaction when you found out this incredible news?
It's actually on our Mojo in the Morning Instagram and Facebook. They were taping it at the time. I cried. I got emotional. I started, Jake, the way that you are doing this right now. I started local cable access in my hometown in the suburbs of Chicago. And never did I ever think I was going to ever be on the radio, nor did I ever think that I'd get honored with the opportunity to be in the Radio Hall of Fame, which is part of the Museum of Broadcast Communications and is located in Chicago. And it's wild because we went there as a show and got a chance to kind of walk around. And as kids, you watch a lot of TV shows. I would watch all the time the late night shows and the daytime shows that were on. We were amongst, people that were in there like the legendary Johnny Carson, Jimmy Fallon, as well as Bozo the Clown, like all these people, and then all the other radio people like Casey Kasem, J.P. McCarthy from, Michigan, television people like Bill Bonds, who Bill is also a West Bloomfield resident. And so it's a very cool experience, and honestly, it's a complete honor, and I don't think I deserve it, but I humbly accept it, and I hope I can become rich because of it.
Hey, you absolutely deserve this honor, Mojo, for everything that you have done to radio. And you just listed off a lot of big names, probably a lot of your idols. How does it feel to be recognized alongside some of the most iconic radio figures that there are out there?
Well, that night that I was inducted, and you've been showing pictures here on The Splash, I was inducted with Alice Cooper, who is a Detroiter and a legendary rocker, but also has an amazing radio show. There's the great picture, and you can see Alice over to the right there. Colin Cowherd has got a nationally recognized sports talk show. His show is amazing. Some of the biggest broadcasters in the business work for Julie Talbot, who is the person who was the first person inducted. She runs Premier Radio Networks. She was Rush Limbaugh's boss at one point, and now is the boss of Ryan Seacrest. So it was cool. I mean, Jake, I don't know what your aspiration is in life, but when I was working for Jones Intercable, Channel 4, and doing the local football games in the area, honestly, I thought that was the coolest moment of my life. At that moment, I was trying to live in every single moment that I was in, but I would have only dreamed of being able to be in a Hall of Fame. So, I mean, I was a kid who grew up and went to high school and never won awards at all. I couldn't win student council. Now I'm in the Radio Hall of Fame. That's pretty awesome.
That is really, really awesome. And you were just touching upon some of your past, like growing up. What originally drew you to radio, and what has kept you passionate about it all these years?
Well, I couldn't get a date otherwise. Honestly, I always say that radio draws the nerds, and then for some reason they have glow-ups once they get into radio or television. I love the idea that I could be part of people's lives. We have so many listeners that are from, my hometown of West Bloomfield. And to me, there is nothing better than getting the opportunity to make somebody's day even better than it already is going, or even better than that, if they're having the hardest day or the hardest part of their life at that moment, let them forget about it for the time that we can. So I like the idea that we go on the air, we crack the microphone. Actually, I'm sitting in the studio here, and if they want to come in, they can come walk behind. But I got Shannon and Kev and Anna who are in the studio with me, and they are, here's Shannon. Say hi to Shannon.
Hey guys.
Hello.
I mean, Shannon, West Bloomfield. Say hi to West Bloomfield. All our Chaldeans and
Hi everybody.
my Jewish friends and my neighbors. I like, just like you, I like that there are people that happen upon maybe this and go, oh my God, that's, Mojo and Shannon and everybody from the radio. That's what they look like. And now they maybe become a fan. So my hope is that you'll listen to us and then maybe give us another try the next day. And then sometimes maybe become like addicted to listening to the show. I always say that what you do is you bring informative information to the community, letting people know about great things that are happening in West Bloomfield, which is an incredible town. My wife and I have lived in West Bloomfield for almost 26 years. I think that what we do is we talk about all the communities that we're on, including Detroit, Grand Rapids, and Toledo, which is where we're based right now.
Hey, all incredible work, and it is great to hear of how far you have come with your career. For those just joining us on the Splash Live, I'm talking with none other than Mojo in the Morning, a radio legend who was just inducted into the Radio Hall of Fame. Now, Mojo, you listed off a lot of the people that you were inducted alongside with, a lot of people who you grew up listening to. Are there any particular mentors, colleagues, or even some listeners that you'd like to credit for helping shape your career and what it is now?
Yes, I would like to credit Kool-Aid Lady, Misfit Victor, Smoker Jackie. Honestly, I started listening to radio back when I was, you know, 10 years old, I think, maybe even younger than that. And I talked about this in my speech. My mom passed away when I was young. Radio was my escape. I listened to the radio as a way to forget about the pain that her going through cancer, dealt on me as a kid. Then when I got into radio, I got a chance to work with great, talent over the years. Like the first guy that gave me a job was a guy by the name of George McFly, who people in this area may not know, but he's a legend in Chicago. And then coming to Detroit, I had an opportunity over the years to work against Drew and Mike. Drew was a guy that I always had such a fondness for. And then honestly, you just saw Shannon just a second ago. Shannon's been my sister in radio, but also my sister in life. Now for so many years, I don't know, 12, 15, 20 years, 17 years. I know Shannon as well as anybody. We both have dealt with heartache and pain together, but we've also dealt with the highest of highs together. She keeps me sane and sensible in the studio, and I get a chance every day to work with Kevin and Anna and two great Chaldeans, Lydia and Bianca, who are incredible people. So honestly, I would say my mentors right now are truly everybody that every single day that I get a chance to work with, who come to work at a very ungodly hour of the morning and put on the greatest show, I think, in the history of Detroit radio.
I love it. And you're absolutely right. Everybody needs a strong team, and you have a very strong team with you with your show. Now, Mojo, you said that you have been on the air for about 17 years. What do you believe has been
17?
My apologies.
Shannon's been with me. So in Detroit, it's Detroit Mojo in the Morning is going to be 26 years old on February 21st. I've been on the radio. I'm 55. I've been on the air since I was 18 years old, and then when I was 17 was when I worked in cable. So I've been doing this way longer than I had ever thought I would. And honestly, I don't know anything else. If West Bloomfield wants to hire me as a crossing guard, I'll stand out in front of Orchard Lake Middle School and I'll hold that sign. But I'm hoping to do this until the end.
That's fantastic. And like you said, long time on the radio. What do you believe has been the key to maintaining such a strong connection with your audience over the years?
Being able to move with the times, to understand that you can't rest on your laurels. You got to come every single day, and having the trust that when you don't come in and have a good show, that the listeners know what a good show sounds like, and they'll be back the next day, and you just got to make sure you bring it. I always say that, we're like the the New England Patriots, that have won so many different Super Bowls. People always know what it's like to win a Super Bowl. The year that we don't win a Super Bowl is when they'll talk the most. We're going to have bad days, but you know what? Our goal is we're going to try to come and bring it the next day and make it just as good. And then the other thing, too, is living in the community. People see me in West Bloomfield. Like people know where we all live because we talk about where we live and what we're all about. And I think that just like the fact that I've taken to West Bloomfield as my hometown, I think that people get that, and they don't want to hear a nationally syndicated show. So that's always been a plus for us.
Well, you have made such an impact, and I cannot wait to see what else there is to come in the future with you, Mojo. There's so much more to see. And going back to the Hall of Fame recognition, how do you hope that this recognition reflects on your legacy in broadcasting?
Well, I'm not dying and I'm not retiring. So I hope that people, usually in sports, you only get a Hall of Fame when you're retired. So I hope that people don't think that this is the end. I still have many more years that I want to do this. And I think our show has many more years of doing great radio. But I hope that the legacy of what we all do and what I do personally is that people say there was humility in what they did, but damn, they were really good, and always, came to work every single day trying to do the best job that they possibly could.
And people look up to you every single day. Once again, Mojo in the Morning, joining us on The Splash this morning to talk about his recent induction into the Radio Hall of Fame. Now, Mojo, as somebody who's been in radio for quite a long time, a lot of people look up to you. A lot of people see you as a source of inspiration. What advice would you give to young broadcasters trying to make their mark, especially in today's fast-changing media environment?
I would say don't ever give up. Accept every opportunity that comes your way. My first on-air job came because somebody called in sick 10 straight days in a row, and there wasn't anybody to fill in on the 10th day. So I was always there hoping that I would get the call to be the person that would go on the air. And I knew that the moment that I was put into the game, I was going to give it my all. So in life, no matter if it's radio or if it's becoming a teacher or a police officer or firefighter, whatever it might be, always be there, always show up, always be willing to take whatever job that they're willing to give, and then give it your all. And if you got talent, they'll see that. And in my case, I don't think my talents were what got me to this point. I think it was definitely the hard work and the dedication of making sure that each and every day I was going to be great for whoever I was working for.
Hey, hard work and dedication means so much, and it's what everybody needs to get to where they want to go. Now, Mojo, radio has always been about connecting with people. What would you say has been the most rewarding part of that connection for you?
Well, we are about to get into the holidays here right now, and our Mojo in the Morning Breaking and Entering Christmas Wish program, which year after year we've always made sure that we had at least a resident from West Bloomfield. We get help through the West Bloomfield PD and the West Bloomfield Fire Department, where they'll help us nominate some families. But that is one of those things where I want to plug this, because and I know West Bloomfield is always thought of as an affluent area, but there's not nobody understands that there's people struggling in a town like West Bloomfield. And now with everything, being the way that it is in our country, there are even more people struggling. I want people to go, our West Bloomfield residents, go to mojoswish.org and send us a letter that we can grant a wish for you, so that every kid, every family can have a holiday, whether you're going through illness or you're going through financial hardship. Don't be proud, put that aside and tell us what's going on. That, I think, has been a great legacy. We started this 501c3 after just literally dipping into our own personal pockets and granting wishes using like as little as $1,000 to spread amongst a number of different people. And now we've almost raised $1 million over the years to break break into people's homes, so to speak. This is what we do. We go on the air, surprise people early in the morning, and then say, hey, can we break in and bring Christmas to you? Because nobody ever breaks into somebody's home and leaves things. They always take things. And then we set up the tree and the gifts and all that stuff. That's such a great legacy. That's always incredible. So I'm very, very proud of that as a lasting legacy that will forever be part of the history of the Mojo in the Morning show.
I love it. I love hearing about all the work that you're doing to give back to the community. That's so great to hear, Mojo, and we appreciate everything that you do. I'd love to keep talking with you, but I got one more question before we wrap things up. Now that you've achieved this milestone, what's next for you, either personally or professionally? What's next?
I'm going to Red Coat for a burger. No. Honestly, what's next is to wrap this year up strong and to come back and continue to just keep doing great radio. I'm hoping that the Lions win a Super Bowl, Pistons win a NBA championship, the Tigers win the World Series, and the Red Wings win a Stanley Cup. Honestly, nothing is ever different than from getting the award to not getting the award. It's the same thing. I drive Orchard Lake Road every single day to and from. And I know when the construction's going on and when there's no construction. So I don't know. Maybe I'll run for West Bloomfield supervisor or something like that. I don't know. I actually have had people ask me if I would ever get into politics. And the problem is I got too much of a bad past. There's no way that anybody would ever allow that.
I mean, I'd vote for you. I think you do so much greatness around the community and across the radio airwaves. I cannot wait to see what's to come. Mojo, thank you so much for joining us here on the program today.
Thank you. I appreciate it. And thank you to what you do, because honestly, when there's nothing on television and I'm looking for something, I watch The Splash.
And that's going to do it for us today here on The Splash Live. Big thank you to all of our guests and for everybody on the Splash Live team for helping to make this show possible every single day. I've been your host, Jake Schaff. Live, local, social. It's The Splash Live on Civic Center TV and 89.3 Lakes FM.